Hey, I'm TJ. I'm a teen living with eczema, and I've lived with it my whole life. Do you live with it too? Well, I just want to let you know that you aren't alone, even though it feels that way sometimes. There are over 30 million Americans, and millions more worldwide, just like us. And at times our skin can make us feel like aliens, and not like the people around us. Take this lava lamp. I remember first seeing a lava lamp in 4th grade and thinking, that's just like my skin, it's always changing. I don't know if a flare will hit the backs of my knees, if my hands will dry out, or if my face will get all red and itchy. If you're a teen with eczema, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. We probably share many of the same experiences and feelings. So let's talk about something. I know every teen with a heartbeat has awkward moments, but I also know that every teen with eczema likely has experienced awkward moments at a whole nother level. Maybe you've been caught in a situation like this.
Okay, so what'd you do over your weekend, TJ?
Well, I don't know, I got outside, got some exercise, threw the pigskin around.
Yeah, were you outside, like, a lot?
Well, yeah, a few hours a day, probably, or something like that.
Well, I don't know, I'm just noticing it looks like you have some pretty bad sunburn on your neck. It's flaking and stuff.
Something like this just really grinds my gears. I mean, I know he's being curious, but someone with eczema, like you or me, can be pretty sensitive about our skin. Those kinds of comments can easily come across as insensitive, or worse yet, plain mean. Even though my friend's comment makes me want to smack him upside the head, what's important is to keep things under control. No, well, it's just my eczema, man. It makes my skin dry sometimes.
Oh, alright, I was just wondering, I was a little confused.
But anyway, you guys catch the game last night?
Yeah, I was really disappointed.
Really?
Dude, that last shot was amazing. I find that answering these types of questions honestly is a simple way to handle these awkward situations. Honest answers will usually either satisfy the person's curiosity or make the person more curious and more willing to learn about eczema. Either way, it's a win-win scenario. Rude comments and questions are another thing teens with eczema learn to deal with. The rudest comment I can remember is when a kid asked me once if I had leprosy. That was, to say the least, a bit of a slap in the face. To him, it might have been funny or whatever he thought, but it was really just a massive insult. Those kinds of comments can be devastating to anyone's self-esteem. I know my self-esteem was pretty damaged, and are very hard to forget. I had a chance to talk with a group of teens with eczema at the National Eczema Association's conference. I asked them about some of the nastiest comments they'd ever received, and here's some of what they had to share. What's the most ridiculous comment or question you guys have gotten on your skin? Like, I know some people just don't understand. They ask you a question which, to us, people with eczema, or even some of us that don't have it but understand it, sounds completely ridiculous. Like, what's the most ridiculous one you've gotten? We'll go with Anwar.
Once somebody asked me, how did you burn your hands?
Okay.
That actually is a good one.
Okay.
What are you, an alligator? That's what someone asked my sister.
Wow. Okay. Anyone else have one?
She didn't take anything from it though. She was just like they were just laughing.
Well, that's good. She laughed it off. Anyone else? Comment you got in your skin?
Asked me if I got burned, but I'm like, no, it's just...
Yeah. Like, I know for myself, like, people have asked me, like, if I got sunburned because, it gets flaky and it starts to peel off and stuff. And so, like, have you guys gotten any other comments like that? Those of you who haven't said anything?
You're so ashy. Put lotion on.
Okay. Alright.
Do you use lotion?
Alright. Whoa there. After hearing about all those comments, what's a teen to do? As hard as it is, it might be best to just ignore them. Nobody wants to hang around someone that makes rude or negative comments about what makes them different, so don't.
I need somebody help, not just anybody.
I bet everyone is at a doctor's visit where you go in just looking for answers. Teens with eczema might especially have these kinds of situations. You come in with a flare-up, just looking for answers, already feeling self-conscious, but one of the staff says something that unintentionally rubs you the wrong way. No pun intended. Perhaps you've been caught in a situation like this.
Hi, TJ. Have a seat for me up here. So what brings you in today?
Well, my eczema's flaring on the backs of my knees.
Can I take a look? Poor thing. I will let the doctor know.
I don't know about you, but when I'm having a flare-up, the last thing I want is someone feeling sorry for me. I just want to know how to make my skin better, so I can feel better. The sympathy just makes me feel more uncomfortable.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Leo. Nice
Hello.
to meet you. How are you today, TJ?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good.
And what are we seeing you for?
Well, the backs of my knees are flaring up, but before we get to that, I'd like to talk to you about something.
Certainly.
Well, I know your staff cares, and they mean well, but could you ask them to please show a little less pity? I'm already coming in feeling bad with my skin and all, and comments like, "You poor thing," just make me feel more uncomfortable.
Absolutely. I'd be glad to talk to them, and thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it. How about those knees? Tell me what's been going on.
Well, it started last week, and they just started. Having an understanding doctor's office helps diffuse some of the tension when your skin's flaring. If something like this ever comes up, don't let it make you feel worse. Try mentioning it to your doctor. Odds are the staff didn't mean anything by it. By mentioning how you feel, you might avoid any potential discomfort in the future. If you're a typical teen, I know your life is busy. And those of us with eczema have another thing to throw into the mix: skincare. Thorough skincare is essential. How many times have you been told that maintaining properly moisturized skin and calming inflamed areas is important? But I know you'll understand when I say this time-consuming regimen is hard to fit in and keep up on a daily basis. With school starting so early, lengthy skincare in the morning can be difficult. If you're like me, simply getting out of bed in the morning can be a task in itself. During the day, it's tough. Have you ever snuck into the bathroom to throw some lotion on between classes? After school presents a different set of time constraints. Heavy homework loads, extracurricular activities, part-time jobs, chores, and hanging with friends can make it difficult to find time for skincare. But creating a skincare routine is so important. I really struggled with it for a long time, and only recently did I realize how much of an impact taking time out of my day for my skin could have on my life. Once I really committed to making skincare a daily routine, my skin started to look and feel so much better. In turn, it boosted my confidence and my self-esteem. Here's a timely tip. Set your cell phone alarm to go off at a certain time in the evening to remind yourself to stop what you're doing and take care of your skin. It's helped me. Perhaps you have your own tricks for skincare. Oh, there goes my alarm. Time to go take care of my skin.
Golden slumbers fill your eyes.
I know you'll agree with me when I say that getting a good night's sleep is one of the hardest things about living with eczema. Study after study shows that sleep is especially important as a teenager. At a time in life when sleep is golden, teens want as much sleep, especially deep and restful sleep, as they can get. But having eczema can make sleep such a fail. Incessant scratching and those nagging itches can keep us up way past when we really want to be asleep. And being sleep deprived creates a crazy cycle of stress. Not being well rested affects school performance by making it hard to focus. I'm sure you've had those mornings where you dozed off in your first class after a particularly itchy night. I know I have. Lack of good sleep also reduces the energy you have to participate in sports and other enjoyable activities. This, in turn, creates more stress, which creates even more itchy nights. Cycle complete. Perhaps you found a way to break this difficult sleep-stress cycle. The best thing I've come up with is listening to relaxing music as I fall asleep.
Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry.
All teens find different ways to deal with stress. Teens with eczema are no different, except that we may have to consider our eczema when it comes to which activities we choose. For instance, participating in sports is a great way to de-stress with all the physical activity. However, for some of us, sweat is a major trigger for our eczema, so participating in sports could be an uncomfortable choice. Some people choose to just deal with the discomfort because they simply love the sport they play and are willing to put up with the consequences for their skin. Others find it too much to bear and choose other physical activities where they can better control the amount they sweat. For example, hiking, biking, swimming, and weightlifting are among the possibilities. Of course, there are many ways to be active and involved. Taking up photography, writing, painting, acting, singing, and making music are all things you could do. In the end, eczema may influence what we do, but it shouldn't stop us from doing. You ready, guys? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. You know, eczema can really be a tough disease to live with. It can make us feel isolated and separated from people around us. But it's okay. We're not alone. Sometimes it's tough just to get up and face what's in the mirror, whether it's good or bad. I know I've had trouble with that plenty of times. But again, it's alright. We are not alone. Sometimes eczema can even be painful, whether from damaged skin or from damaged emotions. We just have to remember we are not alone. Although all this and more happens to us, as teens with eczema, we have to realize that we are not the only people dealing with this disease. There are millions of other people worldwide who go through the same stuff we do. Sure, sometimes it can feel like you're the only person living with the day-to-day problems eczema can bring. But no matter how much you feel alone, it is so important to remember that you are not alone. I personally write a little sticky note that I keep by my computer, just to remind myself of that. Also, reaching out to others with eczema is an awesome way to help relieve your own feelings of isolation and to help others with eczema. In the end, everyone has different ways to deal with their eczema, but it's important to remember, you are not alone. Oh, one more thing. If you are feeling alone, at the end of this video, I've listed a few places where you can reach out to other teens with eczema.